Hi folks, it's me Finn with a Y, and today I'm going to be talking about something that might be like a sensitive topic. I'm going to be talking about, this is just a forewarning, I'm going to be talking about mental health related topics, including self-harm, and suicidal ideation. Oh wow, the moon is really pretty right now. So if that is something that upsets you or that you don't want to be around, then don't watch this video. Just for your safety. If hearing about it upsets you, makes you think about it, you should go. Now, with that out of the way, what is the deal with my mental health? So, this is gonna go back to 7th grade. Hashtag worst year of my life. Which I think I did talk about in a couple videos of mine because it was just so fucking awful that I just keep on bringing it up. So, well, okay, this period is like really blurry for me. I guess because the brain like blocks it out so it doesn't upset you. For reasons that I wish I could articulate, and I wish I knew what they actually were, I became really depressed in 7th grade, like towards about halfway through the school year. Everything, like my life just felt so monotonous. Legit, like every day was the same. I was always so tired. I felt like I never really felt joy anymore. And that, like, nothing was worth it. And on top of that, I felt like I was hurting the people around me, even over things that were so slight, like me saying something that upset someone would make me think I was just a letdown and like a complete fucking failure, and that people didn't like me anymore because of that. So, in, I believe, December of 2021, I wrote a suicide note. And I don't remember exactly. I think I still have it on my phone somewhere because my therapist made me freaking read it out to my parents. And then my mom asked me to text it to her. Sorry, Mom, by the way. I'm so sorry. So I wrote a suicide note, and it was along the lines of like, I feel like I've never been happy. Like, all I've wanted is to be happy and to make other people happy. And so I feel like the only way that I can truly, like, positively make other people happy is to stop living. Because I feel like, me living is getting in the way of other people being happy. I wrote another one in January, I think. I'm trying to remember what that one said. I'm gonna go look. Okay, so the first one was more along the lines of like, all I've done is hurt people and been a burden. The second one was more about just that this was, the act of me committing suicide, that was for me, not for you to make you suffer or feel bad, that it was for me to ultimately, the ultimate way to punish myself for being so awful. I was 11. in both of those notes, I wrote, like, please don't feel sad, that I'm dead, and don't mourn me. And that I was sorry. But not sorry for killing myself. Sorry for being such a terrible person. Which, again, I was 11. I wasn't a bad person. I am not a bad person, I think. I'd like to believe I'm not. Looking back on that, it boggles me how I felt everything so intensely that the simple act of me embarrassing myself or of me saying something that hurt somebody else made me want to genuinely die. Obviously I didn't kill myself, but I was in therapy at the time. Guys, I'm not crying, my nose is running. I don't cry. It's just that sometimes when I get sad, water comes out of my eyes. I was in therapy and I mentioned that to my therapist, and they made me read it out to my parents, my mom. I really don't even... I want to say that she was crying, because she probably was. I barely remember her reaction to that. I was just so wrapped up in the simple fact that I had to read my fucking suicide note to my parents. The whole point was that I wouldn't have to read it. I would be dead and they would read it, and I, just having to say those words out loud, that confirmed to me, seeing my mom upset like that confirmed to me that I was hurting other people. And that even in my attempt to punish myself and redeem my soul for being so terrible, even then, I was still hurting people. That's how I've always, or a lot of the time, felt about having mental health struggles and having to tell people about it, is that I feel like them hearing about it, especially like, your parents, them hearing about it, that upsets them more than if they didn't know and I just kept it to myself. I felt and I still feel so fucking guilty about that. I was never going to actually carry through with it. I was never going to kill myself. I never had a plan. I mean, I thought about how I would do it, but there's only so many ways you can do it. I was never going to kill myself. I just made my parents suffer for what felt like nothing. Because I never killed myself. And I was never seriously a suicide risk. So, I mean, this is not the end. This is... I guess that is my message. This is not the end. This is my message to you. Don't ever feel ashamed of having to talk about the way you feel. I know that it can feel so shameful and so guilt-inducing to tell somebody about that, because it feels like you're putting your burdens onto them. I'm not going to say that you're not. I'm not going to say that you having those problems doesn't affect them, but them being upset by that isn't an indication of you hurting them. It's an indication of them being hurt by the fact of seeing someone they love like that. That's such a vulnerable place to be in. It feels so awful. I know that. I know it feels so awful. I don't know. I'm no therapist. I'm no psychiatrist. I'm no shrink. But never, ever feel bad about talking about your feelings. Or at least don't try and punish yourself for that. That's fucking stupid. I mean, that's really not meant to sound as insulting as it did. That's stupid. I mean, you're trying to help yourself. And if you helping yourself makes someone feel bad, they're feeling bad because they want to help you. Chapstick break. They're feeling bad because they want to help you. They're feeling bad because seeing someone you love like that. Like, imagine if someone that you love was experiencing that and was saying things like that and was feeling like that. Imagine how hard that would be for you to hear because you love them and you want them to be happy. That's where they're coming from. Not out of a place of you're hurting them or you're doing something to upset them. That's where they're coming from. They're coming from a place of it's hard to see somebody like that. Not because it is physically hurting you or because it affects you literally, like directly in any way. It's because they love you. There's really not much more I can say. I mean, love is such a powerful thing that it enables us to feel what other people are feeling. That's another thing. When you are feeling like that, empathy, a blessing and a curse for the human race, that they are in your shoes. When they hear you talking like that they're in your shoes. And they just, just imagine feeling like that, Imagine that. Imagine being so sad about your life that you don't want to live anymore. Like, that is gonna make someone sad. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But if making someone sad is the cost of you getting better, that is worth it. Yes, that is a little selfish. So what? If making someone upset is what prompts them to help you get help, like, if it's your parents and they can help you get a therapist or get in treatment, it's a small price to pay. For your life, for your livelihood, it's a small price to pay. You are worth so much more than a tear that someone sheds. It's okay. It's worth it. I promise you it is worth it. My dad is coming. Never mind, no he's not. So, at some point in 7th grade, it may have been before that, was the first time that I self-harmed. With, again, if this is something that's going to trigger you or upset you, I'm going to describe it. So if you don't want to hear that, skip this part. Or just try and skip this part, because I don't know if I'm going to put timestamps, whatever. I cut my fingertips with classroom scissors in the girls' bathroom. Okay, my dad is calling me. Hang on. Okay, he wanted me to watch a freaking clip about Paul Stanley's 12-string guitar. Anyway, the first time that I self-harmed was in the girls' bathroom, and I was standing at the sink. This girl came out of one of the stalls, and my fucking heart dropped so fast. And I turned and I looked at her with such fear in my eyes, and she looked at me and she left. That is something else I feel so guilty about, that anybody had to see me in a vulnerable state like that. Like, in the moment of doing that, like, that. I don't know who it was. I don't think I've ever seen her again. If that was you and you're watching this, I'm sorry. But it's probably not you. Then after that, I was like, wow, hurting myself hurts? Probably shouldn't do that. And so I didn't. But I had a lot of intrusive thoughts about self-harm, which is an attribute of my OCD. I might make a video about OCD misinformation one of these days. It really ticks me off. You want to know what grinds my gears? OCD misinformation. So, but in freshman year, this is something you might relate to this. I mean, I hope you don't. I hope nobody relates to this video at all, because nobody should, go through that, but obviously some people are going to, unfortunately. I wasn't even, it was the beginning of freshman year. Now, freshman year is when my grandfather passed away. But at the beginning, because that was in October, so at the very beginning of the year, I wasn't particularly sad about anything. But I would scratch myself with this, with push pins for just whatever reason, just because I wanted to know how it felt. One of my close friends noticed, and I explained it so passively, as if it wasn't something that you should probably be worried about, or probably not, something that was not abnormal, as if it wasn't taboo to walk around with your arms like that. Because I'm right-handed, so. That went on for a while. Again, don't even really know why. Now, honestly, I think I was probably doing that, throughout high school thus far. I haven't done it for a while. That method, at least. Now, in May, when I found out that my girlfriend had been cheating on me, that was when I started actually, cutting, with just, a razor or whatever. Not even taking the blade out, because that's a lot of work. Sorry, that's not funny at all. Because, and I'm gonna say this as somebody who's still actively in that. I haven't self-harmed in over a month. I think it was 10 weeks I hit recently. But I struggle to condemn my self-harming habits. Because I feel like they're justified. That's not normal. You shouldn't feel like that. I shouldn't feel like that. It's not normal. It's not justified. There's things you can do. Anyway, when I found out my girlfriend was cheating on me, I started actually, cutting as a form of self-harm. And it was because I was mad at myself. Obviously, I didn't really do anything in that situation. Nothing that would warrant her cheating, but also, well, no, that's it. Nothing that would warrant her cheating. Guys, I'm not even really mad about that anymore. So, don't bring it up, though, because then I will get mad, because it's upsetting. But it doesn't haunt me anymore. And I did that for a while, on and off, very infrequently. But for example, this was the most recent time when I self-harmed, was that I had said something that really upset my best friend, And I felt so guilty and mad about that I self-harmed. Again, as a way to, like, punish myself or something. Obviously, it doesn't even really work. She forgave me the next day anyway. Or another example, and this is something I'm deeply ashamed of, and so I want to be able to talk about it objectively. And preface this by saying I know what I did was whack and wrong. We did a mock trial in my AP government class, and my team lost, and I fucking lashed out at everybody in the room. I mean, I still think we should have won, but obviously my reaction was unjustified, and, you know, even the teacher of that class, who's like my favorite teacher ever, was really upset with me, because the way I acted was fucking ridiculous, and that still keeps me up at night. I'm so ashamed of that moment. I never act like that. That is out of character for me. That was so deeply shameful, is so deeply shameful. But it was so deeply shameful that I self-harmed because I felt I was mad at myself. And I was disappointed in myself, and I felt like I had hurt other people. Because I probably had. Guys, like I said, this is something I'm still struggling with. I think about self-harming sometimes still. It's not like it's been that long. You know, the school year, like, first quarter just ended, so I guess it has been a while. I struggle to, first of all, I struggle to call it a problem. Again, because I feel like it's justified. And because, like, you know, whatever, I just didn't consider it. It wasn't like an addiction. It wasn't something I was doing every day and couldn't feel normal without doing it. It was something I did when I felt like I needed to. So I still struggle to not justify that habit and to actually take action to not do it anymore, because I feel like I still need the option. And so, I don't know. And I still struggle to talk to anybody about it. Part of it is, yes, I want someone to notice and to talk to me and to check on me. But also, anytime anyone brings it up, including my therapist or my psychiatrist, I shut it down. Because I feel like I still need the option to do that. You know, rarely. Again, I don't consider it a problem because I don't do it that frequently. But obviously it's still a problem because you shouldn't be doing it at all, period. I don't know. Again, I'm no therapist, especially not for myself. I've been on antidepressants since... Well, okay, so I got treatment for my OCD in 7th grade. Like, for 6 weeks in the last quarter of 7th grade. And I was on antidepressants from then. I was on Prozac and did nothing, so then I switched to Lexapro, and I was on that for years, but then recently no, not recently. Like, at the beginning of the summer, I switched to Wellbutrin, because I felt like Lexapro was just making me numb. Which, guys, I don't recommend Lexapro. It kind of sucks. Nor do I recommend Prozac. It also kind of sucks. Then again, it's different for everyone. Everyone has different needs, different things that their medicine has to do for them. Do I think antidepressants have helped me? When I've been in active crisis, probably yes. Because I have experienced... That is really vain of me that I'm constantly just messing with my hair. What was I saying? Guys, do you remember? What did I just say? When I've been in active crisis, I have experienced what it's like to not be on them, and I've felt awful when I've not been on them. But then again, I'm hesitant to say it's made a huge monumental change in my life. Then again, we can never truly know, because I can't go back in time and see what would have happened if I didn't start taking antidepressants. So, I have seen some people saying that not going on antidepressants saved their life. I don't really know how that works, but what do I know? I'm just some bitch. Sorry, I'm like fidgeting right now. Zynga. So, some words of advice from somebody who is still struggling with self-harm and who has experienced mental health crises. Number one, people do love you. That's so fucking cliche, and that's some therapist bullshit. It's like, say your affirmations 5 times in the mirror. I am loved, I am loved, I am loved, I am loved. That was 4 times. I am loved. That's 5. And I know it's fucking annoying, and I hated, like, when I was in active crisis, I hated being told that, like, oh, there's people that love you. Because I didn't feel like that. I felt like people secretly hated me. Or something. Or didn't secretly hate me, is that there's a lot of people who openly hated me. Hashtag my life. But there are people that love you. Like, I mentioned this in a previous video, but I realized on Halloween that I spent with my 2 best friends in the world how much I love my friends and how much my friends love me. Again, some people have no friends. Some people don't even have a family that supports them. I've always had a supportive family. I'm very privileged in that aspect of my life. So, I guess the question now, I was thinking about this earlier, racking my brain about it. What do you do if you have no friends and you have bad mental health? Let me just say, having no friends doesn't necessarily mean you have bad mental health, but a lot of times it does, because it makes you feel bad. You're like, dang, I have no friends. My life fucking sucks. I've been there. The moon is behind the clouds now. What do you do if you have no friends? You have to find your passions. Everybody can do something really well. Everybody has something that they love more than anything. I know depression, the whole point is that, like, you take a little interest or pleasure in doing things. I've gotten so many psych evals in my life that I've basically memorized the questions. You take a little interest or pleasure in doing things that you used to enjoy, or in doing things at all. But there are things, whether or not there's people in your life, or whether or not you think there's people in your life that love you, there probably are. No, there certainly are. I'm certain about that. You know, activities or your passions love you back. Your passions do love you back. I love writing, and writing loves me. Like, when I'm writing, I feel happier. I feel more myself. If that's what it takes to get you out of a rut, you need to be doing that. You need to find what you love to do, even if you are depressed. Even when I was depressed, obviously I have been less severely depressed than some other people I know. There are lots of people who actually attempt or commit suicide when they're depressed, or when they were depressed. What was I saying, guys? I just went off on a tangent. It's that, you know, your passions love you back. Everybody has something that they love. When I've been in active depression, that's what I was saying. When I was in active depression, when I have been in active depression, there were still things that I loved doing. I still loved to write. I still loved to listen to music, even if it was music that exacerbated the sadness that I was feeling. So probably not that helpful. Guys, I understand. I'm never going to be a person that tells you don't listen to sad music when you're sad because it's going to make it worse. Like, yes, it is, but it also makes you feel seen. So, it's the price we pay. So, basically, I guess the moral of that is that there's people, or there's animals, or there's things, or there's passions that love you. You are always loved. You know, whether you believe in God, then God always loves you. I personally don't, so I'm, not going to give anybody religious advice. I know they do that in, like, rehab. Stupid. Number 2, again, don't ever feel ashamed. This is not like a command that I'm giving you. Obviously, you're probably going to feel ashamed if you share your feelings when you're in a vulnerable state like that. But you have to learn to move past that. I'm going to be a little mean here. It's kind of self-centered. I'm saying this as somebody who's been there, and I know that was self-centered of me. To be like, I don't want to talk about anything, because, like, what if I hurt someone's feelings? Your life is so much more important than that. Your life is more important than anything. Anything. Let me say that magic 3 times. Your life is more important than anything. Ever. No person in your life should make you not want your life. No job, no family, no, circumstances. Well, circumstances, I'm not going to comment on that. Should make you not want your life, or should make you feel ashamed of trying to save your own life. And that is what that is. The act of sharing your feelings with someone when you are in a place like that is the act of trying to save your own life. You are always saving yourself. And you are saving yourself by doing that. By at least getting that out to somebody. You are saving yourself. You have done yourself a service, not a disservice. I promise you. Whatever you have to do, whatever you feel like you need to do that keeps you alive, do it. Well, maybe not drugs, guys. Don't do drugs. Whatever you need to do, whoever you need to talk to, however many people you need to tell, do that. Whatever it takes to keep you alive, you are the one person. That's not true, because I guess you could get murdered. But in this context, you are the one person who decides. You are the one person whose life is in your hands. Only you. Your life is in your own hands. This video is getting really long, so I'm probably going to end it after number 3. But anyway, your life is more important than anything. Seriously. Number 3. Have conversations with yourself. Something that has really helped me with my mental health, with things that I've been struggling with, is to talk to myself. Not in the traditional sense, not in a crazy way. Maybe in a crazy way. I mean, I am talking to myself right now, I guess. But, my journal that I write in, that I've shared my entries from on this channel, I have talked about, I use that as a strategy of sort of self-soothing, self-coping, is talking to myself about it, because a lot of times I feel like I'm self-aware, like I know what my problem is, I know, if there's a pattern that I'm in that I need to break, if there's, something that I can do to change the way my life is, and I'm not doing it, and I know that, I can talk to myself and discipline myself, which I guess doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This video is fucking long, so I am going to end it here. I love you. I mean that genuinely from the bottom of my heart. There are very few people in this world who I genuinely hate. And there are very many people in this world who I genuinely love. I know I don't know you personally, probably, unless you're one of my friends who's watching this video because I tell you to watch my YouTube videos. I do love you. And there are people, something always loves you, whether it's a person or anything else, including me. So, yeah, you just have to live for me now. Yeah. Because if you die, that's blood on my hands. Because I told you not to die. And then, you know, that's just so much paperwork. I love you, and keep living. I promise it gets better. If I'd killed myself when I was 11, I wouldn't be here right now to tell you about why you shouldn't kill yourself. It gets better. And I know it's fucking stupid and it's horrible to just sit and wait for things to get better. There's things you can do in the meantime. Go to therapy. Get on some medication if that's your jam. I know some people don't really want to do that. You know, find outlets. If it keeps you alive, and it's 99% of the time good. Anyway, keep living. There's so much out there. There is a beautiful life that waits for you and for me, for all of us. If you're in the place that I'm in now, or you're in a place like one that I described I've been in, if you want to talk to me, I don't know you. If you want to talk to me, you can reach out. I guess it's YouTube, so you can't really message me on YouTube. But, I mean, I'll have a conversation with you in the comments or something. Whatever it takes, again, to get you to live. Fine by me, kid. Anyway.